it's a pleasure to introduce this special session this afternoon. We have an exciting partnership happening between APARA and CEAI MyFinB. So let me introduce to you Mr. M. Nazri, the founder of MyFinB, Center of AI Innovation Global. He specializes in AI and cognitive analytics with more than 2 decades as a practitioner. He leads the digital transformation strategies for public, private, and nonprofit organizations globally, where he serves as AI advisor. He is presently the honorary consul for the Republic of Cabo Verde in West Africa. He's a member of the Board of Governors for Republic Polytechnic in Singapore and advisor to its School of Infocom. Welcome to our virtual stage, Nazri.
All right, thank you very much, Elle, and special thanks to APARA via Oliver for inviting me to share a new phenomenon on democratizing AI with no coding and no programming in mind. So you can see the slides right now, all good to go. Oliver, can you see my slides right now? Just to have a final confirmation.
All good.
All good, thanks, Elle.
All good.
All right, so today's session is about sharing with you a new phenomenon where we can allow 90% of the workforce, okay, to be able to perform AI solutioning without the need for coding and programming. So the basis of this is for us to remove all barriers associated with learning, adopting, and implementing AI. So it starts with the concept, the vision that nobody should be excluded from learning, adopting, and deploying AI solutions back to their organizations. Even though you may not be equipped with AI or machine learning knowledge or coding or programming knowledge, there should be an opportunity for you to do that. So this is what you call technology inclusivity. We've heard about financial inclusivity, right? The unbankable, those people without the proper credit scores to be able to get funding. How about those without the technological knowledge, but yet have a lot of expertise, has a lot of knowledge, have a lot of functional or at least domain specialization that can be converted into AI systems. So there are a lot of barriers. When it comes to AI, people will talk about, oh, you need AI and ML people, you need data scientists, you need a lot of infrastructure, you need a lot of coding and programming. It's very expensive, it's very time consuming. So we are about to remove majority of these barriers and introduce you a platform or program where we convert more than 90% of the workforce who have without the technical knowledge or ability to create AI solutions, we give them that opportunity. So this particular partnership that we have with APARA ensures that the education of AI, the practical knowledge of AI, the deployment of AI, the design and building of AI can be made possible through people like the head of sales or manager of sales or executives of operations, people from marketing, finance, and so on, even board of directors and C-suite management. What if we convert 90% of the workforce, okay, comprising of all different levels of talents within the organization, who, without have the knowledge of coding and programming, can convert their knowledge into systems. So to give you an idea what AI is about, it's not dashboard, it's not matrix, it's not about creating charts or visualization. It's not even chatbots that basically give answers to you like what time the office opens or closes, right? So it is a little more cognitive about it. If you to magnify your brains millions of times, right, you will see that it consists of intertwining of your neurons in your brain. So same thing with AI. So you have a lot of algorithms or what you call neural network engines that mimic the way the brains think. So whether it's in the context of manufacturing, whether it's in the context of financial planning, healthcare, a board of directors preparing themselves before AGM, an accountant, an auditor, or even investing into the stock market, AI is here. AI can help the stakeholders to make use of the data, no matter how incomplete or how fragmented they are. It can produce their own analysis through its own natural engine capabilities, natural language engine capabilities. So there are many use cases and actual case studies that have been deployed across industries, across sectors for public, private, and non-profit. So we have more than 500 over AI expert systems that you see on screen, but we can only put up 6 for viewing in one slide. So can you imagine these are being done with people who have very deep knowledge about manufacturing, about healthcare. You're talking about doctors, nephrologists, clinicians, right? You're talking about financial accountants, auditors, investors, and converting their knowledge into a system like this is highly possible when you when you understand their way of thinking and magnify it by a few 100,000 to a few million times. So whatever you see on screen here is being built with people without coding and programming. Okay, moving on. So imagine, okay, with the 99%, you go to any university, you go to any government bodies, you go to any SME, you go to any listed companies or a bank. How many of them are able to build AI solutions? Okay, how many of them knows coding and programming in any organization? You realize that most of them do not know how to build AI solutions, more so learning about coding and programming. So in this case, we come up with a solution. If we can convert 90% of workforce, make it technologically inclusive, democratize AI, doing the building, the logic building without using technical knowledge, but using their functional and their domain specialization, what will happen? Four things will happen. Number one, the workforce will be able to tell a story. So for reporting purposes, for presentation purposes, for communication purposes, whether you're from HR, marketing, finance, operations, you'll be able to automatically produce data, sort them out, arrange them nicely, present it visually, and more importantly is automatically in words, in any language, explain the situation about the company, about the organization, about the company, about the departments, about the projects that they are in. So it's about alignment. When you have a standardized way of linking the dots together across all stakeholders, alignment happens. When alignment happens, productivity happens. When productivity happens, shareholder value increases. The second effects of converting 90% of workforce with AI solution is that they're able to create a more cognitive approach. It's not just copy and pasting data. It's not about data visualization. It's not about borrowing a watch and tell you the time. It's about going through the 5 stages of AI process thinking. Okay, one is to describe, telling you what happened. 2, tell you why did it happen. 3, tells you what can happen in the future or the scenarios that could likely happen with a certain probability. 4th is to recommend a set of actions based on the issues that you face. 5th will be to take on new data, unstructured as well as structured, qualitative as well as quantitative, process it through the engine. It will tell you the story in these 5 levels. So that leads to a quicker, better decisions beyond alignment. So we are talking about the situation where if 90% of your workforce can be equipped with AI knowledge without coding and programming, put in their rules, put in their parameters, and the machine will generate all the analysis from internal and external data. The third effects of productivity, as can be seen from public listed companies or even public institutions, companies that adopt technology more often than not has higher sales per capita or sales per employee, 3 to 4 times more than, say, an institution like a bank. Here you can see that if you take the total sales divided by total employee, a very simple matrix, right, to demonstrate or to highlight the kind of output with the input that you are putting in, you will realize that tech companies have 3 to 4 times higher productivity output than, say, a bank or a telco. A bank or an automotive company. So with the exception of Ferrari, for example, the rest of the automotive selected sample companies are still below 1 million per employee in terms of sales. So it's not about minimizing human labor costs. It's not about replacing people, but it's about the reality that displacement of jobs, okay, will have already happened. And McKinsey estimates that 60% of jobs out there are at risk of job displacement. So when you have job displacement, you need to reskill and upskill your workforce. And the question is, what kind of skill are you going to upgrade? Are you going to reskill? We believe that with the knowledge of AI across functional and make it available across situations, circumstances, and project scenarios, right? AI can help you to go through the process of these 5 levels. Teaching them, first, it helps them to be aligned in the terms of the story. It helps them to create more cognitive decision-making rules and decision-making solution to speed up the process. And then it will lead to higher effects on productivity, higher productivity levels. Okay, it can also lead to higher valuation for those startups, for those public listed companies, for those corporations, or those companies that are planning for IPO. You can see that companies that adopt AI-based technology on a price-to-book ratio, Okay, that means a number of times that you are willing to pay based on your book value of your company. AI-based tech will generate at least 15 times. Of course, we remove the outliers like 30 to 60 times, right? But on average, AI-based technology companies tend to generate higher valuation than, say, non-AI-based company, whether you're from logistics, electronics, real estate, construction, and so on. And even ICT, even the normal technology companies that does hardware, software, distribution, a reseller, only generate 3 times. Still higher than other traditional companies, but still much lower, 5 times lower than a tech company that adopts AI-based technologies. So it's all about equity in learning AI. It's about 3-in-1 program. It's a first of its kind in the world where you not only learn, but roll up your sleeves, you build. Not only you build, you also deploy. You pilot it back, sandbox it back to your organization without the need for coding or programming. So in this case, we are not just giving them the tools. We are making sure that those people who are lagging behind, okay, in the world of technology, don't need to learn Python, don't need to learn R, don't need to rely on huge army of data scientists, don't need to pay them huge salaries. Your own talent, your own specialization, your 10, 20, 30 years of experience, of your specialization, of your expertise can be converted into systems as we've demonstrated earlier. So it's about converting your knowledge into AI prototype systems and scale it further. Okay. So what will you learn in this program is that you will design a solution by looking at what others globally around the world. So if you're in education, you're in HR, you're in marketing, you're in finance, the program will bring out all the top 10, top 30, top 50 case studies out there. Learn, understand, critique, analyze the maturity of the technology, and then you design a solution based on our proprietary framework. It's very much an enhanced version of a design think, design sprint solution, okay, where you basically put your conversational rules and language, the second step, on a decision tree using online, offline format, and then you basically map out, okay, in simple language and expand your thoughts across various modules. So if you're in HR, you talk about recruitment, planning, training development, performance management, organization development, right? Compensation and benefits, and so on. So if you're in accounting, what are you talking about? You could talk about sales, AP, AR, ledger, cash flow, whatnot. So these are the individual modules, and you can put your rules on what you want the machine to analyze. So we will wrap the relevant algorithms around your inputs, extrapolate, power up by 1,000,000 times in terms of analytical power, and then you will design the UI UX or the output of the report. You can even design the report, okay, to look how it looks like. Then we put it out on cloud, and then you can showcase to a global audience in our AI World Summit. You deploy it back to your organization as a sandbox project, all without the knowledge of coding and programming. This is made possible. We were inspired 3 years ago when I sent my 2 daughters for an MIT program called Scratch. So under 5 days, kids in the age of 8 to 10 are able to create their own apps under 5 days. Okay, they call it visual programming, drag, drop, put parameters, right? So I was asking myself, if kids can do apps, right, can do some kind of storyboarding with a wizard and a witch and a cat killing a mouse or catching a mouse, right? Why can't adults do that to solve problems in the world? Why can't we align these AI systems to suit the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, the 17 goals? What if we can create AI for ESG, right, purposes? So many use cases, and we open it up. And instead of dealing with just business alone, we deal with individuals in an organization. Hence, we attracted hundreds of applications as of now from public, private, non-profit. It's amazing the kind of responses and the kind of openness that people want post-COVID times, post the peak of COVID in most parts of the world. So it's like, imagine you are the writer of a book, okay? You're the writer of a book, you write a storybook, okay? And then you use Microsoft Word to write a story. And then you print it into a manuscript, you find a publisher. So you are the author, you own your IP, you own your system, you own your intellectual property asset, okay? And you learn how to you learn how to use Microsoft, but you don't own Microsoft. You license, you own the license to use Microsoft. And when you print a manuscript, you find a publisher. The publisher, with all its equipment and marketing machinery, will print 100,000 copies of your book and distribute it globally. Let's say you're Pearson, right? You write a book, they will manufacture for you, they distribute for you, they give you royalty. But do you have to pay for machinery? Do you have to hire 100 people? Do you have to basically produce the cost of running and producing the copies of your books. No. With your ideas, you put into a platform, you get back royalty on a revenue sharing basis in this case, right? And here we'll help you beyond the qualification. We will help you as a venture builder to spin off into a startup all over again if required. If it's an organization who sends you for it, then it goes back to the organization. And if he wants a bigger version of it, you can basically produce it up, right? Ramp it up into higher, what do you call that? Advancement. So what we compare, if you were to type certification in AI, you will see that the cost is very expensive, very time consuming. You got to targeting the machine learning people. You got to target the AI people. You must have basic programming, blah, 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 right? Or at best do a playbook, learn about how people do and do a playbook. But our cost is 3 times lower than whatever you see out there, okay, and 7 times more value, because not only you have the case studies based on personalized basis, based on your sector that you're in, you create a system prototype, you sandbox it back to your organization with our support as part of the cost fee. You demo day to AI World Summit. You can post certification, you can create it to a venture with our help, okay, and then you can do funding for tech investment. We can provide funding for those technology that we believe is scalable and your commitment is there. So just like the writer of a book, you don't have to pay extra beyond just enrolling for the course, and then after that, it will scale up on its own. And more importantly, the 7th is you have access to global markets and professional network as a result of this program. And we have indeed selected a few top global practitioners out there from various parts of the world. And this will be mapped and matched to your individual projects. And the list is actually much more than this, but I'm just focusing those who are coming on board for the first 2 batches. So they are from all over the world, from Silicon Valley in one corner to various ESG or ethics or climate change, so very varied. As you know, AI is industry agnostic. And of course, you can showcase your project into the AI World Summit that takes place every year. So for those of you who are entering this first cohort, you will get to present it on 1st December with the ready prototype, the ready solution that solves a particular problem or pain point in your organization. I'm reaching to the end of the slides, my session, but who should join CAI, right? So CAI is a certification that we are referring to. It covers people like policymakers, government, to track effectiveness and policies of program, corporations and financial institutions, sending their people to evaluate about loans, about credit, about risk assessment, and so on. SME, startups, investors, advisors, coaches, and researchers and academicians, as well as educators. So it's in need for all. AI, CAI, okay, and AI is meant for all. So what you can do is you create robo-advisors for each of the function within the organization type. Yeah, so with this partnership with APARA and the upcoming signing, which will take place very soon, shortly after this, you will have an idea about what CI is all about. We are happy to have a chat through the Secretariat of APARA, and let's get yourself certified and produce more impact through AI. So that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nasri. In fact, I was very amazed, and I was like floating when I hear what Nasri could explain in terms of the new approach to understanding AI and being able to build AI. I remember those days when I was in the IT department and we talk about power users, right? Power users who actually try to build application using tools when you have a huge backlog in the IT department. Here, we can build an AI-powered solution, right, without codes. And that's going to be an amazing advancement, right, in technology. So I do encourage all of you to take a look at what is possible with this technology and this approach. Now, I'm going to ask Nasri to stop sharing. Yes. And I would like now to call upon my colleague to run a video which was taken earlier, where APARA and CAI and Hindi signed the memorandum of understanding to work together to bring this approach, this methodology to all our members, as well as all the audience who are participating. Like what Nasri said, please feel free to contact the Secretariat with the email secretariat@apara.asia, and we'll be happy to help you to make the necessary arrangement. So let's roll the video now.
Up next, we are pleased to observe the Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony between Asia Pacific Assistive Robotics Association, APARA, and MyFinB, Center for AI Innovation. The MOU signing signifies MyFinB and CEAI Global continuous partnership and collaboration with APARA to introduce innovative digital transformation AI solutions to professional bodies and organizations via the APARA network and its partners. This partnership also hopes to launch the Certification in Applied AI, or the CAAI, that provides professionals the opportunity to deploy and adopt AI technology for their organizations or businesses. The signees for the MOU are Ms. Shandlin Lee, President of the Asia Pacific Assistive Robotics Association, or APARA, and Professor M. Nazri for AI innovation. May I invite Shanlin to say a few words, please?
Thank you, Elle. Hello, everyone. Good day to you. My name is Shanlin Lee, the President of APARA, the Asia Pacific Assistive Robotics Association. I am excited today to announce and endorse this partnership with CAI, or MyFinB. Well, disruptions like the pandemic are no longer uncommon and unpredictable black swans events. Many companies make promises about AI. It's hard to know what's real and what's not. However, a set of common factors to consider includes less cost, shortened time, and proven test cases. Well, this partnership with APARA and CAI brings exactly what is needed by today's emerging and successful businesses, the adoption of disruptive AI solutions. Time to market of the essence, we can now accept the long gestation period. Using AI as a platform to accelerate the adoption of AI technologies will not only benefit organizations, but also to develop a new breed of power AI talents who can build AI applications with no code. I'm very grateful for having this opportunity to work together with CAI, and we are sincerely happy to have entered into this partnership with CAI and MyFinB. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Shanlin. May I now invite Professor Nazri to say a few words as well?
Thank you so much, Elle, and special thanks to Shanlin and APARA for being part of this very memorable historical journey where we seek to democratize AI by providing the 90% of workforce with the ability to create AI solutions without the use of coding and programming. So as we know, majority of us do not know AI, ML, coding, how to create AI solutions. We finally have a platform that enables people to convert their knowledge into systems. So this is where we make data talk. If data could talk, what would it tell you? So this program with APARA, together with its global partnerships all around the world, is about helping the 90% of workforce to develop their own robo-advisor and sandbox it in their organizations without the use of coding and programming, hence the democratization of AI. It's about creating the equity, of learning and deploying AI. It's about converting knowledge into systems without the knowledge of AI and machine learning on top of an AI as a platform. So we are very pleased to partner with APARA and with encouraging support from various associations that has linked up to us locally and globally. It is basically a global 3-month online program that provides the learning, the building, and the deploying of AI prototype solutions to bring impact to organizations of all types, whether you're from public, private, and non-profit, in incremental steps. So this is a very important step for Singapore organizations, for Singapore SMEs, for Singapore businesses that find AI to be complicated, time-consuming. You need a lot of technical knowledge. You need a lot of cost. You need infrastructure. We demystify that. We break all the barriers of learning, adopting, and deploying AI through this certification in AI program with APARA. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Nazri. That sounds also exciting. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between APARA and MyFinB CAI. Signees, thank you very much and congratulations. So with that, I would like to congratulate APARA and MyFinB CEAI on the signing of the MOU as we forge ahead, advocate, and co-develop the AI digital transformation initiatives catered for professionals and organizations.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was the official signing of Memorandum of Understanding between MyFinB, CEAI, and APARA. And I welcome anybody who are interested in this program to check out with the Secretariat. Now, I want to make one comment here. I know Professor Narsri talked about Singapore. However, I want to emphasize that this program is a global program, right? APARA will continue to work with all our network associations across the globe and any other country that wishes to work together towards participating in this program. I guess the key message here that we are trying to underline is a groundbreaking model where we talk about less cost, shorter time, and increased productivity in pulling together an AI solution. Well, the challenge with the traditional learning model is you try to learn a lot of concepts and models and algorithms. At the end of the day, you only use a portion of that information to build your solution, right? Here we are able to shorten the time to understand fully, right? Fully how and what is needed to match your business needs. So thank you very much to Professor Nasri, as well as Ms. Shanin Lee for signing the Memorandum of Understanding, and I certainly look forward to engaging with all of you in this groundbreaking model of how we put together an AI solution. With that, we end this session, and we'll move straight into the panel discussion shortly. So see you in our next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank you.